Route 1.
I think Joe would like to help answer the question. This is Joe Wilmot, and volunteer at the Day Resource Center.
Excuse me, in 2007, the county did one of its annual surveys of the homeless, and we sent out teams on the street, and we really tried to cover all the populated areas of the county at that time. We covered the Route 40 corridor, 29, we covered the Route 1 corridor, we looked at Oakland Mills and Phelps Luck, and all over the county. And we found most of the chronically homeless along the Route 1 corridor. We knew that our count was low because we had not covered this corridor well, so we did some secondary follow-up in 2007, and we found that rather than the 19 chronically homeless people in the county, we had about 55. And the vast majority of those, all but about 3 or 4, were on the Route 1 corridor. So, and since that's why we opened the Day Resource Center here, because this is where the homeless population was.
So that's the honey and fly theory.
Pardon me?
That's the honey and fly theory. That's why they're here. Honey.
No, before the Day Resource Center was here, before there were any plans for the apartments, the homeless were here. This is where there's always been a concentration. I don't going back as far as 1999.
The homeless went under the bridge between Howard County and PG County. Half of the people that lived under that bridge were PG County homeless.
Can I say something? I mean, the question everybody keeps saying is, why are they on Route 1? And I think the reason they're on Route 1 is because of convenience. Because there's roads there, there's grocery stores, there's laundromats, there's maybe fast food. If I work and I only get $200 a week, and I gotta pay $2 to get a bus to go to work and $2 back, I mean, I'm gonna spend $10 a week. So now I'm down to like $180 roughly to spend. Now I can't afford a place to sleep, so now I've got food. How much do you spend a week on food? Let's say they spend $50. Now they're down to $100. So the convenience is why they're on Route 1. You're about 2 miles right now from Route 1. You go now, right now, and walk out in this cold and walk 2 miles to get to something. You're not going to want to do it. You'd rather be within 100 feet of it. That's why they're on Route 1. Now the concentration, what you're saying is why they're all right there, is because of convenience. Now they can put the Day Resource right here in this building, but you're going to then have to bus them. They're not going to be able to walk on their own. The bus just went by about an hour ago. $2 to go on that bus. Now if you transfer to another bus, it's $2 more. So if you live in Laurel and you work in Columbia, it's going to cost you $4 maybe to get to work. And I'll tell you, my car was broke down. It took me 3 hours to get to work. And that was walking half mile, taking a bus, waiting 45 minutes, taking another bus, and then walking another half hour. So that's why they're on Route 1. Now the question then becomes, do you make it convenient for them to be able to live, or do you put them out in like 4 miles from some place that they're going to have to figure, how am I going to get to this place to go to work? That's why.
I'll tell you, when I worked for the Developmental Disabilities Administration, and the issue of transportation came up because we didn't pile all the retarded people on one corner or all the mentally ill in one corner because bus transportation was there. What was developed in a kind of case management, supportive services, surround services, they were provided with subsidized tokens, and they were provided with subsidized cab fares for getting back and forth to medical services and so forth. And so you do not, from a programmatical standpoint of view, put everybody in one corner just because you can't work out a transportation strategy.
Mr. Coleman, I have a question for you. Since you are the expert in psychiatric nursing or mental health issues, I'd like to ask you your opinion about this facility. How much step down is it from the prison and a mental health facility combined? Is it a lockdown facility, a semi-lockdown facility? I like to
think
know.
Mr. Snyder could answer that. I thought he said something about 24-hour security, so what, the security of the facility, he may have an answer to that.
I'm going to give this to Jim Sense to answer.
You know what, Russ, I want to speak. I want to clarify some understandings about what this building really is. First of all, the building is...
I'm sorry, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rick Bell. I work with the Volunteers of America. And I want to make a clear understanding to everybody here of what this building really is going to be and what its dimensions are. First of all, it's a little over 30,000 square feet, so it's it's not a small building, but it's not a large building either. It had been discussed that it's a 3-story building. It's primarily a 2-story building with a small third floor with 8 apartments. But we have talked about services and how they may be administered, but this is architecture in its true sense, and that is it's a marriage of what people need with the place in which it's delivered. So you have a DRC on the first floor of the building that provides comfort, medical needs, dental needs, counseling, job counseling, and a host of things for the individuals that use it 3 days a week. On the upper floors are 35 apartments for chronically homeless folks that also will benefit from these services, who will have these services in the building and immediately available to them. I think the concept was breached over here. Why are people coming there? Obviously, if you have an issue and you are attempting to resolve that issue, the marriage of the services with the proximity of where you live makes perfect sense. It's the most efficient way to conduct this particular building. There was also some mention about the site being terrible. The site's not terrible. The site is certainly buildable. It had been contemplated for a project. I believe it was a storage facility several years ago. And we went through quite a lot of examination with technical analysis on the soils, and there's no question that the site is buildable. And most importantly, the site has the potential to be zoned for this mixed type of use. It was referenced earlier about trying to find a hospitable environment, zoning or otherwise, for this type of use, and it's a very difficult event to locate within Howard County. You have zoning issues, you have technical issues, you have cost issues, you've got a myriad of development concerns that really do not allow a disbursement of units throughout the community as had been suggested here. If the goal is truly...
I'm sorry, would you repeat that? You said you do not allow disbursement throughout the county?
No, I said if your desire is to serve these people as most efficiently as you possibly can and provide the services to them, the best way that is achieved is having the services in the facility where the people will
Well, I don't think HUD agrees with that at all. In fact, HUD's main philosophy of serving the homeless, chronically ill or otherwise, is mainstream. That is not mainstream. That is a retrograde to institutionalization. And that's what we fought to get rid of here in Maryland.
I'm not going to debate what HUD's issues are.
I'm saying what HUD's philosophy and what they strongly support, and what is mainstream, not clustering on the corner.
Again, I would say, I'm not going to get into the business of what HUD's philosophy is. I do know this from my own 30 years of experience in the development world, that when there are people that need services, you bring those services to the people in the building or the location.
You take the people to where the services are, and you don't have to build anything. That's how we wound up with 5 institutions in Maryland with 5,000 to 10,000 people in it. Because of that same philosophy, it's cheaper if you put them all in one building. Bad concept.
No, it's not a bad concept. This is a concept of stability, of encouraging. If you look at the architectural drawings for this facility, you will see counseling rooms, you will see medical rooms, you will see computer training rooms.
Yes, I understand. I understand you're trying to combine all the services in one little area, so that you may be saving on cost. I understand that. That's been done. That's been the philosophy of public projects down through the decades. And I'm quite familiar with projects. I grew up in one, the Polk Kid down in South Carolina.
If I may,
So you're not describing anything that
if I may, I don't want to be rude or anything. Tom Terry, North Laurel, I want to thank Community Established for having us out. I don't want to hijack your meeting or anything. Mr. Gilman, good to see you again. Mr. Carbo as well. I think you got a good combination from the last time. I've seen a lot of community angst. I've seen folks from Jessup, from North Laurel, from Savage. I don't believe the angst is towards the homeless or chronically homeless. I believe we all agree that they're in an unfortunate situation. What I think the angst is, and Mr. Gilman, you kind of inherited this, is that the county has proceeded to steamroll over the citizens. There's a lot of high-profile cases that have gone through with Coastal Sunbelt, the homeless shelter, Dar es Salaam up in the northern part of the county. The citizens don't feel like they're being heard. And I see you're here, and I appreciate that. So you all making the effort. The difficulty is that these types of issues are very, very polarizing. Did the homeless shelter come first or did the homeless come first? Chicken and egg. That's something that we may never discover. The issue is that, again, when I was in planning school in a small town in Minnesota, Mankato, we learned about Columbia, Maryland. We studied Columbia, Maryland. We studied Howard County, all the beautiful planning that happened here in the 60s. What I've seen recently has not been planning. It's been ready, fire, aim. What we need to do is we need to move forward in an integrated situation with the citizens of Howard County, the citizens of this part that feel like we're getting run over by LA City and Columbia. They get what they want. There's been folks in the council who said, you know, a gas station on the corner of Route 1 and Whiskey Bottom is better than what they've got now. I don't accept that. I don't accept that this is the only option or the best option. It may be, but I don't accept that we've done our due diligence yet to say that this is the best option for the citizens of Howard County, or this is the people that it is supposed to support. Homelessness is not a Howard County problem. It is not a state of Maryland problem. It is a national, it is a world problem. It is something that goes beyond borders. We need to be more integrated in our approach, Mr. Gilman. We need to get the housing guys, the folks that work on, from Grassroots, from Volunteers America, the citizens, the planners, the politicians together, and we need to develop a plan. Now, we need to do something in the interim. I absolutely agree. We have folks out freezing right now. I'm sure that if people in this room, the collective intelligence in this room, we can come up with that solution. But moving forward with this, it's already not going over well in North Laurel. There's obviously some angst here in Savage. I don't know if it's the best solution as it's proposed. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. And I'm glad you brought the point up about the people in this corridor feeling the angst because they don't feel that they have a sense of control over the direction in which their community is going. And I've also mentioned that concern to Mr. Kittleman and feel that we need to have greater input. And when the community, I will say I have done some study on this whole process of serving the homeless here in Howard County, and what I can gather from over the past 10 to 13 years, there has been quite a debate about where these programs should be located.
Ron, there's another question.
Yeah, well, and what I will say to you is, communities who have said that they did not want this project or other services got what they wanted. Columbia, Ellicott City, Elkridge, if they said they didn't want it, they didn't get it. And in both cases, it's wound up in traditional black communities. And that's not right either.
Amen. Now, here's something that I haven't heard.